Welcome back to The Best Years. If you think the medical profession has lost its human touch, you need to meet our next guest. Dr. John Salisbury is the founder of Visiting Physician Services, a team of professionals who bring adult and geriatric care right to patients' homes. Dr. Salisbury, welcome to The Best Years.
Thanks.
What prompted you to found Visiting Physician Services?
I'm board certified in family medicine, and while we were in our residency at John F. Kennedy Hospital Medicine, we did make house calls as part of our residency training. As well, when I was growing up, my grandmother had severe rheumatoid arthritis, and her physician would come and treat her. So to me, it really felt as though it was something I wanted to do when I became a physician.
But what gave you the idea? Did you see the need for it? Something must have triggered you to try this.
Yeah, I was working in an urgent care center at the time, doing a lot of primary care, and we would get a lot of phone calls. Would we come out and make a house call? And I started to do it on a part-time basis in the afternoons as something that I found both helpful to these people and also really was kind of an interesting thing that I enjoyed doing.
And what made you think I want to grow this?
It really grew on its own. I really kind of put it out there and gave it a try, and there was such a great need for it that the visiting nursing services would hear about it and they'd say, oh my gosh, there's a physician who will go out and see our patients for us. And it grew very steadily over the years to a point where we now have 6 physicians and 20 nurse practitioners and physician's assistants.
What kind of services can you provide?
We become the primary care physician for a lot of our patients, and so we provide their routine day-to-day health care, maintenance, refilling prescriptions, and monitoring blood pressures. We also are able to do some other work in the home.
You can actually do some tests in the home? What kind of tests can you do?
In addition to the lab work, we can do x-rays, EKGs, Holter monitoring, check for blood clots in their legs, pretty much almost everything you can do in an emergency room.
X-rays and EKGs in your home. Mm-hmm. This must be so wonderful for patients that who have difficulty getting around. What are some of the benefits to seniors who are able to have a doctor come to their home?
Well, for many of them, they're getting no health care at all. They're completely unable to get out. There is no transportation to take them to a doctor's office. That's not covered by Medicare. So we do provide them with health care that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. In addition, we can monitor their home for other needs such as wheelchairs, walkers, hospital beds, safety issues.
So you're actually getting involved then with some social services too when you're out in the community?
Yeah, I would say it's almost 50-50, a social service visit as well as a medical visit.
And do you actually have to be homebound? Do patients have to be homebound to?
Well, you know, technically it's a little up in the air with most of our reimbursement comes from Medicare. We like them to be homebound, and by that we mean that they are somehow impaired in one activity of daily living. Maybe they need to use a walker or a cane, and it's difficult to get into a car to get to a physician's office. So in our mind, that does qualify them for being homebound by Medicare.
It's not just a matter of you can't drive. Is that enough of a reason?
If you have difficulty, if there's any handicap that prevents you from easily getting medical care, that's the kind of the way that we look at it, and Medicare looks at it.
So why do you suppose doctors stopped doing house calls, and why don't more doctors do this?
Financially, it's very, very difficult. We've had cuts from Medicare over the last 10 years, and it's gotten very, very difficult. You can only see about 8 to maybe 10 patients in a day, whereas in an office setting you can see 30, 40. It boils down to economics primarily.
And so what are some of the reactions you get from patients when they find out there's a doctor who makes house calls?
I have to stop and have lunch with some of them. They give us, you know, gifts, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful relationship that we have. We become almost a family member in some of those instances, and it's something that it's really a saving thing for many, many people who are having a hard time.
And how do you feel about what you've started, and how do you feel doing your work?
I'm very, very lucky. I get to do something every day that makes a difference in somebody's life. And you know, and I'm really doing medicine as I grew up thinking of medicine, which is primary care medicine. We do our own cardiology, our own dermatology, our own psychiatry, literally, in the home.
That's the last question I want to ask you. What is the range of different professionals that are working with you in Visiting Physician Services?
You know, we have physicians, nurse practitioners, and physician's assistants, but there's a loose network that's building that includes podiatrists that make house calls, dentists that make house calls, other social workers, psychologists, lawyers, accountants. So there's really a growing network of services in the home for the elderly.
Well, Dr. Salisbury, I'm so glad to be able to share this information with our viewers. It's a well-kept secret, I believe.
I hope not.
We're getting the word out.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here on The Best Years
Thank you very much for having me here today.
You're welcome. So if you'd like more information about visiting physician services, call 732-571-1000 or log on to visiting-physician.com.